Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Cesar Quintero. I'm an EOS certified implementer, and I'm here to welcome you to Strong in Six. So put in the chat, where are you from? How long have you been implementing EOS? Let's get to know each other a little bit on the chat. And that way we can make sure that we know who's in the room and we can see who's there. All right, I see Kim, Isabel. Look at Isabel. I know Isabel. Jeff, Peter, awesome. Welcome, welcome. Logan, Utah, welcome. I know Isabel because I'm in Miami too, and she's awesome. Holland, Michigan, Ohio, 3 years implementing. Awesome, Andrew. Thanks. Jeffrey, Los Angeles, implementing almost 1 year. That's awesome. Fractional integrator, Laura, in Las Vegas. We were there in February as an EOS conference there. We had, not the conference, but we had the EOS, all the implementers we got together in Vegas this year to celebrate 10,000 companies running on EOS this year. So that was awesome. Luis Perez from Nicaragua. We got international people here. This is amazing. Mel from Charlotte, North Carolina, 9 months now implementing. That's amazing. Welcome, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. So I wanted to introduce myself a little bit. My name, let me take this screen down so that we can all see each other here. And my name is Cesar Quintero. I am a certified EOS implementer. I am based in Miami, originally from Venezuela. So I've been living in Miami for the last 17 years. So I have some Spanish here. So if anybody wants to practice Spanish, I'll practice with Luis from Nicaragua and Isabel here in Miami. I wanted to share a little bit of my story. I moved to Miami from Venezuela at 24, and I decided to start a business. It was a food business. So at 24, I decided to get married, move to a new country, and start a business all at the same time, because that's what we do when we're 24, right? There's no risk at that age, I guess. And I started a food business. So it was a new industry. I had nothing. I knew nothing of it. We cooked and delivered healthy meals to people in their office. And with time, the company kept growing and growing. And the more it grew, the more I realized that I knew nothing. And I had 37 employees. We're around 1.2 million in revenue. And that's when I found this book called Traction. And I read this book called Traction in 2010. And I'm like, this is magic, simple, easy. And I hired my implementer, Todd Smart from Chicago. He came here, he taught me everything, and he put our company in EOS and Traction. Within 6 months, we were wheeling. That first time when we do the accountability chart, I was every single seat in that accountability chart. And then after a year, I was not in that accountability chart. I was an owner box, and I started working more and more on things that I had passion and aligned. And that's when I realized I love empowering other people with these tools and started becoming an EOS implementer. So that's where my EOS implementer journey came. I sold that company in 2016, and I've been an implementer ever since, trying to share this system and process with everyone here. I wanted to welcome also, I don't know if you can see here, Charlotte Chase is here. So everybody give a warm welcome to Charlotte. Charlotte is supporting me today on the chat with all of the questions. So we're going to be having questions and prompts all throughout this. This is not a webinar. I want to make sure that we all understand this is not a webinar. So try not to put everything, your camera on hold or your phone, and try to be here. Let's be present. Let's participate. Let's share experiences so we can get the most out of this time. But Charlotte has been with us for less than 100 days at EOS. So everybody remembers her 100 first days, and she's gaining it. She knows a lot. She has a bunch of experience on training, but she's going to help you with questions in the chat. So that's going to be part of that. And the first thing I wanted to say before we got started as well is I wanted to share our partner. So our partner is Birthing of Giants, and Birthing of Giants is an organization that's dedicated to helping visionaries grow their companies and grow their value. And the way they do that is by providing groups and advice from Bo Birmingham, Norm Bodisky, and all of that. So they have groups of visionaries that get together and aspire to more. We had a workshop on Wednesday. We had amazing feedback from them. If you're more interested in learning more about Birthing of Giants, just go to birthingofgiants.com. It'll be on the chat as well, and make sure that you give them a try. All right. So part of today is you're here because you heard of the Strong in 6 program, and this is something that we're doing every fall. EOS Worldwide puts together all these concepts, and we know that fall is one of those times where we're either very excited about how the year is going to end, or we're very scared about how the year is going to end, because we're either not hitting our goals, or we're preparing for next year, preparing for the future. So that's why we're putting all together these webinars, these actions. There's a ton of different events that we're doing. So make sure to RSVP and go into the Strong in 6 so that you can review these programs and all these things. Today, it's all about vision. So the next 60 minutes, we're going to be talking about vision, the vision key component, and how to bring that to your company and put it to life in your company. All right. So let me make sure I'm getting everything here that I need to be saying, and we are good. All right. So as part of our Strong in 6 program, we have a hero of the book, a hero book of the week. And this week, since it's vision, it's all about the EOS life. And the EOS life is everything we wish for our visionaries, for our leadership team members, and every company that is implementing EOS. This is what we want from them. So this is one of the newer books in our catalog. And what it really talks about, it's about these 5 things that really harnesses the reasoning of implementing a simple system like EOS in your company, which is we want to do what we love with the people we love, making a huge difference where it matters, getting compensated accordingly, but also having time for other passions, right? So these are the 5 main tenets of the EOS life. If you're interested in learning how to achieve these, how to manage energy, how to get to that point where we can get that, EOS life is a great book for this. And it ties really well into the vision, because today we're going to be talking about the key component of vision for the company, but this is what's your key component of vision for yourself. Right. So when you tie in yourself and you align it to your company, magic happens. Right. And that's what I've realized once I had a business I was frustrated with and I didn't align with the things I wanted to do, then there's not big alignment there. So I just wanted to share this little piece of nugget with you guys. If anybody's read this book, tell us in the chat how you felt this book has impacted your life, how it's changed different insights to share with the group. All right. So a little bit about the objectives today. The objective number 1 is get real. I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm not perfect. I'm a human being made of flesh and bones. I'm the same as you. I am a business owner. I still have 2 businesses on the side. So I don't know everything. And I think you all know that you don't either. So let's all be real. Let's be human. Let's have those conversations. If I don't understand something that's being said, let's challenge it. Let's ask. Let's talk about it, because most probably other people in this room are being. So that's one of the things I love about EOS, the open and honest, is that we all understand we're all human beings, and let's be real. All right. Can I get the commitment for everybody? Yes, yes, yes. All right, cool. Okay, good. Secondly, let's keep this simple. That's one of the things I love about EOS and its simplicity. I had read so many books as a business owner, and still today I know so many things. And when I start putting things in and Frankenstein a system that just becomes more complex and complex, it just creates complexity within the company, within the dialogue, within the things. So let's keep things as simple as possible. There's nothing as complicated as keeping things simple. So today we're going to keep simple concepts, simple tools that you can come back and they make a big difference, right? So they're simple to understand, not always simple to implement, right? That's a truth. But once we reach consistency, it's very easy to get people to get there. All right. So can I get that commitment for everybody? Let's keep things simple. Let's make sure that we're addressing things right. All right, we got it. And lastly, that's what this is all about. This is about practical tools. We're gonna be sharing tools here that you can put in action right now, because this is all about traction. Even though today is Vision Day, this is still based on traction, EOS. It's all about getting results and getting them fast and making sure that we make it bad and then we make it better. We make it bad and we always make it better. It's never perfect, but we'll always make it better. All right. Are we all okay with these objectives? Okay, so a little bit about the agenda. The way we're going to run this agenda, we're going to go through the 8 questions of vision. That's what everybody's here today to talk about. We're going to talk about the vision key component and the 8 questions of vision. We're also going to talk about how to share it by all. We're going to talk a little bit about the state of the company address and different ways on how to do that right. Then we're going to have questions really throughout the whole time. I don't want this to feel like a webinar or a class. So at each of the questions, we'll have a segment for questions each time. We'll establish next steps, and then we'll give resources and free tools so that you can put these tools to use in your business. All right. Any questions on why we're here or what we're doing today, or why the hell did I click this link? Everybody's okay? We're all in the same place? Yes, we're good. All right. Awesome, Chris. Okay, we got it. Okay, let's go. So we're all here to talk about the vision key component. And when we talk about the vision, we talk about getting everybody aligned on this and rowing on the same direction, right? We have people that are pulling us this way, people that are pulling us that way. And if my CFO is going that way and I'm trying to go this way, and my marketing person is going this way, we're all tugging and pulling on different directions. What we want the vision key component is to have a well-defined vision that is shared and followed by all. Because if we all row in the same direction, that boat goes much, much faster, right? So the vision key component is all about understanding where we're going. Then we have the people key component, and the people key component is about having the right people in the right seats. It's having people that really match our culture, that align to our values, and really understand their seats and what they're willing to do. They get it, want it, have capacity, and we have the right structure in place, and everybody knows what they're responsible for, what they're accountable for, and how they need to be doing things, right? So people is all about having the right people in the right seats. Then we have the third key component, which is data. And data is about understanding that we're doing things right? Data is taking subjectivity out of things and having scorecards and dashboards and metrics so that we all understand that we have the right people in the right seats, but they're also doing the right things, right? So it's taking that data component. And once we have a clear vision, the people to get us there and the data to make sure that we're delivering, that's usually when issues come. Now, issues sounds like a bad thing, but in EOS, we love issues. Issues is a positive term. It's something we can talk about, we can solve, we can identify, we can really bring up and talk. We base a lot of our issues key component on the dysfunctions of a team and really understanding how to build trust, how to build that healthy conflict so that we can move forward and really move forward on that. So it's creating a healthy team. Then we go into process, and process is all about establishing standardized and consistency within the organization so that there's not one best way to do things. There's 1,000 best ways to do things. And we all really channel and go into what is that one way. We're all going to provide consistency and repetition so that everybody's doing the things the right way. So we're documenting these processes. We're making sure that everybody's following them and it's followed by all the right way, right? And lastly, we've got traction, and traction is down in the ground. And as you can see, this is a wheel. So you can have vision up in the sky. You can dream all you want, but if you don't do, you'll never get there. Gino likes to say, vision without traction is hallucination. It's one of my favorite quotes of the Traction book, because it's true. Like, I'm a total action doer, right? I'm one of those people that we need to take action and we need to do things, because we can dream all we want, but if we don't do, we get there. Traction is all about having the rhythms, the execution, the prioritization, and the focus of really doing the things we need to do so that we get and achieve our vision. Now, the 20% here is that most companies operate at 20% in each of these key components. And most companies are successful in spite of themselves. Raise your hand if you feel you're here. I was definitely in less than 5%. Yes. So most of us, we don't do this. But that's why Strong in 6, we're focusing on each of these 6 key components in 6 weeks. So this week, you're with me and we're talking about vision. So we're going to be all around vision. But then next week, it'll be people. And the next week, data, issues, process, traction. That way, you go from 20% to 80%, which is where we all want to be in traction. EOS is not about perfection. 100% is utopia. But if we get to 80% strong, that's where we want to be. And all of these components will start getting and fueling the momentum to allow you to start living your EOS life. All right. So that's what it did for me. Once we started gaining traction on all of these key components, I was working 1 day a week in my business while my management team ran the business. And eventually 2 of my leadership teams bought the business from me. That's what I wish to all of you, and that you're able to exit your business and prepare for exit at all times. So any questions around the 6 key components in general, Strong in 6, anything before we get into our main course of the day, which is a vision key component? Let's see. Charlotte, do we have any questions around anything we've talked about right now? We got great testimonials for the EOS Life. Love it.
No, yeah, we got a little bit of, a few people responded that they have purchased the book and read parts of it, or if not all of it. And we had a question about recording, and we are recording, and apparently we're going to be sharing the session as well.
I love it.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Libby's here. Oh my gosh, Libby, welcome. All right. Okay, so let's do this. Let's talk about vision key component. What is the vision key component? So when we talk about the vision key component, we talk about the 8 questions. It's really understanding what is our vision. And most of us have it up in our heads. We think about it. We think everybody knows what we're doing, especially if we're the visionaries or we're started the company or we're owning the company. We all have a clear vision in our mind, but we forget to verbalize it and put it in writing so that people can see it. So the first piece of the vision key component is really defining and understanding what are our 8 questions. And the way we see that in our EOS journey is through the Vision Traction Organizer, or as we like to call it, the VTO. The VTO. So the Vision Traction Organizer, it's a one-pager front and back where you have all your 8 questions of vision in one place. So it makes it very easy to onboard people, to remind people about it, to go through these things, right? And we talk about the Vision Traction Organizer. So there's a vision side of this, and there's a traction side of the sheet where we go through these. And what I want to go down is deep dive into each of these questions. So question number 1 is core values. What are core values? Oh, we hear these all the time now, right? They're made famous by Jim Collins and Good to Great. And now everybody has core values and everybody has these things on the board and on different places. But what do they mean? Why do we have them? And core values, the reality is they are already existing in your company. They're what dictate your culture. They're who we are, our identity on how we expect everybody around us to behave. Right. So if you think about core values, how do we expect ourselves and other people within our company, within our clients, within our vendors? How do we expect everybody to behave? So we have to have a process of discovery. What are these true core values? What are non-negotiables that we really cannot live without and we can't live with? Right. There are certain core values. It's like if you react this way, it's easy. Right. A way I like to define core values also is like every country has a culture. Right. And every company has a culture. I was an exchange student in Japan for a year, and being a Venezuelan, loud in the middle of the street, screaming, yelling, not obeying the law, not the law, but the rules, the law I obey, and going through things. But you know what? Japanese people were like, dude, you don't behave that way. That's not how you behave here. And I had to kind of like measure and understand whether I was good or not. And then halfway around the year, another people from Argentina, Brazil started coming, and now they were the ones in the middle of the street yelling, screaming. And now I was the one telling them, like, you don't do that here. You don't do that here. So culture, as much as you want to fit in a culture or not, right? As you go to other countries, you sometimes need to behave that way to fit in the culture, or you just need to move away, right? And if we think about our companies as different countries, there are cultures that some people are not a good fit for our company or our country. So let's just have them go to a country or a company that fits better their culture, right? So we're doing a disservice to them and to us. And the better we define these core values, the better we can define our culture. And because the way we define our culture is by living and breathing these core values. So anybody has clear core values defined in your business? Anybody proud? Andrew. All right. Andrew, tell us what your core values are. Can you unmute, or you want to put them on the chat? Or no, you can't unmute. All right. Put them on your chat. Put them on the chat. If you have core values, put your core values on the chat. Everybody feels that everybody knows what their team members know of their core value. Anybody has an employee phone number we could post on the chat, and we can call them right now and ask them what your core values are. And they'll know them by heart, right? There you go. Kelly has community and belonging, unconventional collaboration, curiosity, exploration, and discovery, thinking creatively, inclusivity, equity, allyship, right? Accountability. We are impact-driven, collaboration, optimism, philanthropy, relevance, respect, team values, team first hustlers, brave and optimistic, listen, learn, and act, accountable. Karina, I love them. All right, Andrew, be proactive. be authentic, be mindful, take ownership, value teamwork. All right. So for now, let's see. Andrew, you're winning. You're winning. All right. So I want to bring, if I want to bring anything here today, I love these. Embrace challenge, love to serve others, continuous learning, fun, two-way candor. Jason, love them. So Victoria, personal value number one, no assholes. I love it. So one of the companies I work with is, no bullshit. That's one of them, right? And so important with core values, guys, important with core values. I want to make sure that when we have core values, and this is just from experience, we want to create them active voice. We want to create core values that are active voice, because when we think about core values, if we say integrity, teamwork, right? Responsibility, that doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm from Venezuela. Integrity means something very different to me than to Charlotte, right? So we have different voices of integrity, and there's different ways. So we want to really make it an active voice, right? Instead of saying integrity, is how do you live integrity? How do you expect your team members to live integrity? Is it act like no one is watching, or do the right thing, say the right, so live your word. So when you phrase your core value in an active voice, when you name it an active voice, it helps people understand, live and breathe the core value, so that we can really put them into action. That way, when you're asking someone, hey, do the right thing, right? You're telling them with active voice how they should be behaving, instead of saying, hey, Jess, integrity. What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean integrity, right? So let's try to have them in our vernacular, in our day-to-day verbalizations. Let's talk about them. Let's shout outs to people with examples, concrete stories on how do we bring these to life, right? So I can say, Christine, oh my God, you help first. You're always thinking of us. You're thinking of how to provide value before even asking for anything. And that is a way of living our core value. Thank you so much for being part of our community. So when we have shout outs and we start bringing them to life, we can help different people understand the behaviors by being rewarded and shouted out in front of their peers, recognized in front of their peers for the behaviors we expect everybody in our company to have. So that's how we need to bring our core values to life. So here we go. Mindy, you got nice, neighborly, kind, intentionally. So how all of these are your core values? This is another thing. Core values, 3 to 5, no more than that. Nobody can remember more than 3 to 5 things, right? So let's keep them active, let's keep them short, and let's keep them sweet. And then we also have a speech that we talk about. So how did we live this core value? All right. So in our case is, one of our core values is, call it out. And when you call it out, is you're open and honest, you say the right thing, you're vulnerable and authentic, right? So that's the way we call things out. We're vulnerable, authentic, we open and honest, and we share things right. So there's different things that we need to make sure that we keep them short, we keep them active, and we give them the definition with behaviors that we expect them on how to live them. All right. Uh-oh, Chris, failed, integrity, accountability. No. So bring these back to your team. This is number one. Any action item for today. This is results, right? Bring them back to your team and say, how do we live integrity? Tell me, how do we live integrity? How would you tell someone in your team that is not living integrity on how they should be living integrity? And that's the core value. Does that make sense? Yep. All right. Accountability. What does that mean? Get shit done. Can I swear here? I can, right? It's US. Get stuff done. Let's get stuff done, right? And let's make it right. Okay. All right. Any questions around core values? Any other ways that we could bring this to life? Any other things that people are doing in their companies to bring the core values to life? It shows passion. Mm-hmm. It takes time. Oh, you're saying my swearing shows passion. Yes, Libby. Yes. Does anyone use imagery to bring them to life? Oh my God, Kim, this is an amazing question. So one of my clients, it's a law firm. This is a law firm, right? And what they did is they realized that theirs was do things with pride, be proactive with the team, get stuff done, take the leap. And what they realized is that these core values had animal representations, right? Take the leap as a frog, be with pride as a peacock, get to yes is a rhino. Like, I'm remembering them just because of the image of the animal, right? This is one of my clients. So, and when you put imagery, when you put a character that represents a core value, bring it to life even more, because now they're not saying do things with pride as peacock, go and peacock, right? And they attach an animal to this and let's be a peacock. And that's the way we represent doing things with pride, right? So I love that. I love that. High fives, shout outs, props during our quarterlies. Yes, Mark, those are great ways. The more we can repeat these, the more we can give recognition to people. It's great. Oh my God, Jess, this is amazing. A core values call out Slack channel. I've seen this work really well, where there's one channel on Slack or one channel in your communication of your team where everything's about wins, shout outs, purpose call outs. And this one of the great ways that we can get people to interact and always be reminded. And it's peer, right? It's not me as a boss telling them these are the core values. It's everybody honoring everyone, right? There's different softwares out there that also give rewards and feedback on these things. All right, I need to move forward because we got 8 questions and we're just on question number 1. All right, so let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 is core focus. Core focus is all about understanding, Essentialism, one of the books that we love, says it's the same thing if you do nothing as if you do everything, right? So it's the same thing as you do nothing as you do everything. So we need to learn what we say no to. We need to learn how to filter our decision making. And that's what we use the core focus for. The core focus is all about our why and our what. Why do we do what we do? What's our purpose, our cause, our passion, right? We can be, and it's never tied to money, right? Because we could make money in many ways, but we chose a way to be here in this company, to found this company, to run this company, to be a leader in this company. We did something, and that's why we stick here. And that's our purpose. Our purpose is tied to our heart. It's tied to our cause. It's tied to our passion. There's something around this that helps us really go in and really understand our why, right? And then our niche is what we do. And it really is simple, concise, and precise thing. If somebody goes out in a networking event, tells you, what do you do? This is what I do, right? And that's your niche. So when we talk about our purpose and our niche, what we want to make sure is that when we're talking about it, it's defining why do we do what we do and what's our niche, what do we do? So that way we can be very clear on what are things that we don't do, right? It's more about what we don't do than we do. But most importantly, this is a part of heart and the vision key component that we bring our heart, and this is why we do what we do. So every time we talk about culture, the culture involves the core values, which is the how we do things, the behaviors, but it also aligns on this is why we do it, because we care about these things. We want to, create different ways, different things. We want to make things happy. Disney, we want to bring happiness to people, right? EOS, we want business owners to get what they want from their business. That's what we want. That's our passion, right? That's why we're doing these events for you in fall, because we want to be true to what we do. Now, if somebody else tells us, hey, would you do a seminar or something it's not tied to what we want to do or why we do things, then it's an easy no. It's not aligned to what we need to be doing, right? So let's put in the chat, what are our core focus? Anybody has a purpose statement or a niche or something? Like one of the niches that I love is Rickenbacker, the popcorn company. Their niche is popcorn. Right? That's what they do. That's what they do. It's simple, right? So any core focuses: teach, advise, coach. Heather, that's clear. That's simple. Provide a 5-star customer experience. Nick, but on what? That's not clear on what you do, right? On what you do. Simplifying the delivery process for our customers. Love it, Ben. Solving the world's climate changes one person at a time. Karina, I love your purpose, and your niche is delivering inclusive talent board to bench across the climate tech value chain. Karina, if anybody wants an example of what a core focus should look like, Karina is an example on the board. Great job. Eric, passion, enlighten business owners and financial insight. I love it, Eric. We make accounting simple. Mindy, love it. Love it. I bring order to the chaos. Rose, I love that. That's your purpose. What's your niche? I want to know what you do now. I'm intrigued because that's what Simon Sinek talks about all the time on Core Focus, right? It's people start with why we do things. If I run into a real estate agent, I already have a house. I don't need a real estate agent. If I already have insurance, I run into an insurance person. What do you do? Insurance. I don't need insurance. But if somebody comes at me with a purpose and I meet someone at networking and what they tell me is I tell them what you do and they say, I'm there for you when times get tough. I'm like, what? I'm intrigued. Tell me more, right? It creates this level of connection, of intrigue, of understanding of how can we connect at a different level so that we can get there and really understand, right? So when we're talking about our purpose is we're tying to the belonging piece. We're tying to not to the prefrontal cortex where we have logic. This is a what, but to the belonging piece, to the subconscious here where we're wanting to connect and belong. All right, Michelle, you have protect vulnerable populations. I love it. Our niche is provide background investigations needs through education and services. This is a great example, Michelle. Great job on doing your core focus. All right, let's go to our third question. So once we understand how our core values and how we do things, then we go to our core focus on why and what we do. Then we go to our 10-year picture. And 10-year target, 10-year target, not picture, 10-year target is where we want to go, right? That's question number 3. So question number 1 is how we want to behave. Question number 2, why we do things, what we do. Question number 3 is where we want to go. Now, this comes from the Jim Collins Big, Hairy, Audacious Goal. Back in the day when Jim Collins wrote his book, it was 30 years. When Gino wrote his book, it was 10-year target. Nowadays, I see a lot of companies shift into a 5-year target because we're in the singularity effect. The world is moving so fast, especially if you're in tech or if you're in some way. There's a way that we need to make sure that we know where we're going now. So an example of this is, Fred DeLuca, founder of Subway. He was 17 when he founded Subway. He was a college student and he got a doctor to invest with him. And he said, we're starting this sub shop. What do you want to be in 10 years? And Fred said, I want to have 32 shops. 32 shops. Great. And why 32, right? Where did you get that number? Well, I don't know. The college town next door has 32 shops. So if that town has 32, I can have 32. I'm like, okay, great. So what happens here? It's your number one goal. He wanted to have 32 shops in 10 years. In 6 years, the doctor comes back. He's like, okay, so we wanted to be in 10 years and 32 shops. Where are we now? Put in the chat how much you thought he had after 6 years. How many shops do you think he had after 6 years? 50, says Monique. Let's see who gets closer. 5, says Crystal. 500, says Victoria. 32, says Mark. 115. All right, let's see who gets closer. Who gets closer? All right, 2, said Laura. All right, so I think Crystal got close. So they had like 15 stores. After 6 years, look, it's a college student, guys. Don't expect this from a college student. And also, he was boot running this and growing but then the doctor said, okay, the purpose of this goal is to understand how are we going to get there? What can we do to get to 32 now in 4 years? Right? What can we do to get to 32 in 4 years? And that's the purpose of this goal. The purpose of this goal is not to know exactly 80% confidence level of how to get there. The purpose of this goal is to understand, 20, 30% confidence level. I'm not sure if we can do this, but you know what? It's a shot in the sky. And let's see where we can go. And the whole objective is through these years, we start making sure that we get there. How do we get there? How do we get there? How do we get there? What are the things that we need to do? Guess what? Fred started investigating and researching different things on how do I get to 32 store without my own money? And he found franchising. And guess what? 10 years came, he was way above the 32 because now it wasn't his money he was using. So it's all about understanding, where do I want to go? What do I want this company to achieve? I'll figure out the how on the way, right? And that's what 10-year target is all about, or 5-year target. Well, if you're using that now. So on this chat, would Tesla's 10-year goal have been 10 years ago? Probably, Nick. Yes. So Gino, when he wrote the book, it took him 18 years to achieve his 10-year target, right? But Now he's on track to achieve way more, right? And EOS is way more about that. When he wrote the book, I think his 10-year target was 10,000 companies running on EOS with an implementer, and they achieved it within 17 years, I think it was. But now it's in a momentum because all the ways he even had to sell his business to get there. He even had to sell his business to get there. So sometimes you understand where the company needs to go, and through the journey, you're going to figure out what we need to do to get there. All right. Any questions around 10-year target, 5-year target? A lot of people are calling it now core target. We're good. 15 to 32 is easier than 1 to 15. So that sounds reasonable.
Yeah, don't see any questions, Cesar.
All right, let's go. So once we understand how we do things, why we do things, and where we're going, now we go to who do we do this for, right? And that is our marketing strategy. Our marketing strategy is all about understanding who is our core target, who's our target market, but understanding them really well, understanding them psychographically, sociologically, everything, sociologically, everything about our core customer. Where do they live? Where do they breathe? How do they behave? What do they want? What are their needs? What are their pains? Right? And then most importantly, where do they go? Right? And that's the list. The list is, where can I find my core clients? Where do they all congregate? Where can I go fish? What's a pond I should go fish to get my core client, right? Where are they and how can I get them? So when we think about things and we really start understanding who our core customer is, because again, if we do everything for everyone, we do nothing for no one. So the more specific we are on who our best ideal customer target market is, doesn't mean we won't do business with others, but this is what all our marketing communication, all our marketing dollars, all our branding is going to be aligned to going towards this customer. So we need to really understand who is this customer and what is that marketing niche that we're going towards and really focusing on. All right. So we want to make sure that we understand who they are and where to get them. But then we need to know our 3 uniques. What are the 3 main things that we need to do, right? Or we need to share with them that makes us unique versus our competitors? What makes us unique value proposition for them versus others in the market? Why should they choose us over others? And the biggest mistake here, and I'm going to shift a little bit towards the results piece, I'm going to give you a piece of advice here and tool, is that a lot of times we think that this is, oh, great customer service or amazing product experience, or we're great at doing this, right? And a lot of times we love to pound our chest, right? But when we're thinking about marketing strategy, we need to think about positioning it on their side. What is a benefit for them, right? Great customer experience is you get what you want faster and better, right? We need a position wording on benefits, on what is it that the customer wants and what do they get from that? 80% of companies say that we have superb customer service. Only 20% of customers agree. So customer service nowadays, especially in the States, maybe not in Nicaragua, but in the United States, it's a given. It's a commodity. If you're not good in customer service, it's negative, right? So customer service most of the times is not a 3 unique anymore. So I want to challenge you on really understanding what makes you unique in your market. Why should your target market pick you over anybody else in your industry or in your market? All right. So that's what 3 uniques is all about. Then we go to the proven process. And what I love about the proven process is understanding what's a journey the customer is going to be on, from sales to close to upsell to upgrade. What's the customer journey? What are the proven process? When you do business with me, it looks like this. And it's a clear, proven process that takes us through the journey of what the customer is expecting. And then 50% of the companies have a guarantee. So if you're able to have a guarantee, it's a way to close the business faster. It's a way to get this and do that way, right? So any questions on the marketing strategy? Ben, I have here, how does your strategy get impacted when you don't have to do traditional marketing for your existing? All right, that's a great question. So marketing strategy is all about understanding who you need to target. The last 2 years, for instance, have been a hiring nightmare. Anybody here have any hiring issues these last 2 years? People leaving, people hiring. Okay. what I've been seeing is companies using the marketing strategy for employees. Who is our target market? Who is our best type of employees? Where do we find them? What is our unique positioning, our 3 uniques towards that? So we can use marketing strategy, understanding, right? Who is our core target market? Now, if we're a recruiting firm, it could be our employees, it could be our clients, it could be vendors, it could be sideways, it could be who is our core customer, right? So we can see this in different ways, but the reality is if you don't use marketing per se, Ben, I think your question, to answer it directly, is you can use it in sales, right? You have a sales pitch that you're telling people, the 3 uniques, this is the reasons you need to buy it. So I think in every instance, understanding who your core customer is also allows you to understand what new products to achieve, what do they want, what do they need, how are they going? You understand the market, you understand their perspective, but you also, during the sales process, you're talking about 3 uniques all the time. Why should you go with us versus not others, right? So you can use this marketing strategy, not only for marketing dollars, but also for clarity on who is our core customer and what should we do inside and in our sales process to convert them better. All right, hope that helps. Okay, now, once we go from the how we do things, why we do things, where we're going, and who we do it for, we go to 3-year picture. And when we think about our 10-year target, our 5-year target, 100,000 companies running on EOS with an implementer, or 32 stores, or anything your 10-year target is. Now we bring it to medium, right? To mid planning on 3-year picture. And we start closing our eyes and we start saying, what does this look like? Let's start envisioning, what does 3 years from now look like, right? And I'm going to move there. And this is kind of like the secret, right? Manifesting. It's just understanding where we're going and really getting that clarity of how it feels like, what it looks like, what are things that we accomplished in these 3 years. And we start putting them on paper and understanding, what is our revenue? What does our profit look like? What are different measurables? How many clients do we have? How many stores do we have? How many channels do we have? Right? And then what does it look like? Is we have a new office and we do retreats every year and our company feels great and people love to work here and we've won Inc. 5000 award 4 times, well, it's a 3-year, 3 times, and we've done different things, right? So what are the different things that happen? And then the magic here is when you share it with your team, you have them close their eyes and we're all traveling in time and we go all together and we have this journey of alignment. And do we see ourselves in this picture? Do we see ourselves in this vision? And can we really all be bought in to make sure that we're all going there, right? So that's what this 3-year picture helps us do, is envision, and if 10-year target was like a 30-20% confidence level, this is like a 50% confidence level, right? We're not sure how we're going to be there, but this is just what we're picturing. This is where we want to go. Then that takes us to the traction side of the VTO, and the 6th question is all about the 1-year plan. So everybody's going into 1-year plan right now, right? You're in fall, so you're probably planning for next year. So understanding the how, the why, the where, the who, the where we're going in 3 years. Now you start saying, okay, now let's start bringing this to 80% confidence level. And let's start thinking about what are the things we need to achieve next year as our top goals to get there. What are the top things we need to do to get there? And then we go into rocks, which is, okay, if we need to be there at the end of the year, what are the top things we need to do this quarter to get closer to that year? And what we start doing in the traction component is start living in a 90-day world where everything we do this quarter, and we have singular focus on these things so that we can get there faster and we can go there. All right. And then lastly, we have the issues list, which is a parking lot of issues, of things that we're not going to put our energy, our time, or our resources this quarter to fix. We're going to put them on a parking lot to fix in the future. Because right now we need to focus on the things we need to focus on, but this is a long-term issues list where we put things to park for the future. So these are the 8 questions of vision. And the 8 questions of visions is core values, core focus, 10-year target, marketing strategy, 3-year picture, 1-year plan, rocks, and long-term issues list. So those are the 8 questions of vision. And the more we understand them, the more we put them on paper, the more we have them accessible to everyone in our teams, the more it will be shared by all. And what we say when we're shared by all at 100% is that every single employee in your company knows exactly why they're here, and they're rowing in that same direction, and they know their part in that vision. And we're sharing this vision constantly with our team and going through those things. Any questions on the 8 questions? Any questions on the 8 questions of vision? Or we feel we're good? All right. So 100% strong in this key component is all about understanding and well defining our vision, right? And then share.
One question.
Yes, Charlotte.
I'm sorry, Caesar. Wasn't sure when you were through. How do you avoid FOMO?
FOMO. That is, I'm gonna talk about this. Okay, so visionaries, we have shiny squirrel syndrome, shiny object syndrome, and it's important for us to have a discipline in place, and that's what EOS is so great at. EOS is so great at determining that focus and that discipline for us to focus on what matters most. So that's why we have this issues list here. The long-term issues list is, I have this idea. I have a place to put it. Like when you go at night to bed and you're thinking about all these things, and then once you write them down, you can go to sleep because everything's written down. That's what this issues list is all about. We have a long-term issues list. These are all ideas that sound great, but right now we don't have the resources. We don't have the time. We don't have the energy to dedicate to this. Our team will go insane if we start doing this. So let's put it on the parking lot. It's a great idea, but let's focus on what really drives the company forward the most. And that's what we pick as our rocks. Our rocks are the most important things that will achieve our vision within these 90 days. All right. Okay.
Question.
Yes.
How long on average should it take to get through the 8 questions of vision?
How long would it average? Is that when we share them?
The question reads, should it take to get through? It sounds like the facilitation of to work out client through them. That's what I'm interpreting it as.
That's a great question. While that person clarifies, we have a state of the company address, and every company has different ways that they share this. There's companies that do it on video. There's companies that do it as a whole day event where you get the whole company together and we all come together and we plan together and we share together and we celebrate together. There's companies that do it in 1 hour. There's companies that do it in 4 hours. There's companies that do it virtual. So it all depends on what works best for your company. But one of the things that happens here is that the best practices on the state of the company, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring to practice here, is, what is the agenda typically for the state of the company? Is you always start with, where have we been? What have we accomplished this last quarter, right? And this is a way that we start sharing by all, because we start sharing with people the vision on a constant basis. And we do this meeting every quarter, so that everybody is reminded of the vision and why we're doing the things we're doing and aligning everybody to that vision. So when we do these state of the company addresses, you usually have the whole leadership team stand in front, right, and represent the company, and then they can share, these are the things that we accomplished. So the agenda typically is, maybe we can put it on the chat, is where have we been, right? Where are we now? And where are we going, right? Those are the 3 main points of the state of the company. On where have we been, we talk about, any core value shout outs, any reflections on the quarter, any accomplishments that we did, any pains that we went through. So we do a retrospective of what happened this quarter, and we learn about this. This quarter, we had a 50% completion, rock completion. It wasn't our best quarter. We missed because of these things, but we can celebrate because we achieved these things. Each person in leadership can share each of their specific departments' wins and things. So it's more of an ambience of celebration and understanding where we're going. You can step through each core value. How does it work? How do we get there? Shout outs, purpose, highlights of customers. The more stories you give during your state of the company, the better, right? The more stories you give, the more real it becomes. The more stories you give on core values, the more stories you give on core purpose, the more core focus, the more story you give on all the things that happen, right? Where we are is understanding this is where we're going, right? This is our 1-year goal, and this is where we are today, right? It's having a reality check. Are we going to achieve our goals? Are we not? What are the things that we need to go? What are the different performance that we need to share and data that we need to share? We are at this number of clients, these number of members, or this number of employees. And where are we going is what are the rocks that we're setting? What are the things that we want to make sure that we achieve? What are the key metrics ahead that we need to go through? All right. So when we talk about state of the company is we have a quarterly pulse where we're always talking to people and reminding them of our vision. And that's how we get 100% strong on vision, because we have it well defined, but then at the same time, we're sharing it constantly. All right. Charlotte, did we get that, the clarification, or are we good?
We're good.
We're good. All right. Awesome. I answered it without knowing. All right. So a brief reminder about the 6 key components. That wraps up the vision key component at 100% strong. Next week, we'll go to people, data, issues, process, traction. That's why it's strong in 6. And then we're going to go to that. There's different EO foundational tools that are available. And there's a link that Charlotte's going to put here so that people can have around different resources that we can share. But we have the VTO, which is a vision traction organizer. It's a sheet of paper that you can write all these 8 questions on. And if you don't have it yet, you can start defining them with your leadership team. But then we are also sharing accountability chart, which is part of the people, the rocks, the meeting pulse scorecard. But the foundational tools are today, what we talked about is a VTO, which is a vision piece of the foundational tools. All right. So next steps. This is all about real results. So I want commitments in the chat. What are you willing to commit to doing from what you learned today? I gave a lot of tips and tricks on different of the eight questions and different ways on how to approach it. So what are different things that you can commit to on doing? And let's chat them in the chat. Quarterly review of vision. I love it, Trisha. And you know what? Sometimes it's hard because we get it started and then we forget. Just make sure that you keep it consistent. Always do it every quarter, no matter what, Any other commitments? Oh my gosh, I am committing to improving our VTO in our annual meeting in December. I love it. Complete the VTO for the first time, Kelly. Awesome. Reach out with any questions. EOS is happy to help. One of our core values is help first. Up my game on my talk about vision. This was great, Caesar. Thank you, Victoria. Yes, one of the things, you bring up a great point. One of the things I want to say here is you don't want your quarterly address to be like today. You don't want it to be me talking all the time. You want to make it as interactive as you can. You want to have people speaking. You want to have people chatting. You want to have people being part of it, because that's how they get involved in the vision. All right. My partner and I just did this a week earlier. It was super clarifying for us. Awesome, Heather. That's great news. But what are you committing to now? You must have learned something new today. So commit to something new. Now. All right. Ensure your VTO is shared by all. I love it. A lot of times we forget to share it with the rest of the team. I love it. Okay. So different resources. There's eosworldwide.com. That's the link that Charlotte was going to put on the chat. That's in there. So there's downloadable tools, there's videos, or organizational checkup, understanding how much you can send this to your team members so that they can rate the company on how well they're doing on each of the key components. And that way you can have a gauge of how we're performing. And if we're really at 20%, because sometimes I thought I was at 60%, but in reality, we were at, 5% in most of them. So, there's Basecamp, EOS Implementers, Strong in 6 podcast with Sue. Sue is one of my favorite people in this world. If you think I have energy, Sue has 10 times my energy. So make sure to go to that podcast. It started October 5th, and the first episode is really cool. So final thoughts. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. If we put them in words, if we label it, if we put it in a piece of paper and we can give it meaning, we can bring this to life. When something is invisible to others and it's in their minds, vision is a way of making that able to see. And that's Jonathan Swift. All right. So it's all about keeping it real, making it simple, and having strong results. And that's why Strong in 6 is here this week to help you, this 6 weeks, to help you gain traction on all of your 6 key components. All right. I hope this was useful. I tried to stop share here. Boom. And if there's any other questions, I'm more than happy to help. Mark Schumer, 10X, bring my core values to life. Huh. Mark, what's the 10X question? I'm not sure.
The energy that you said Sue had,
Oh.
10 times yours. I think he's questioning that.
This question, no, man, believe me. I don't know. You guys know Sue, right? All right. Any other questions? Anything else I can answer while we finish here? All right. I give you back 5 minutes of your day. I hope you go and achieve the vision, achieve your EOS life. We're all here to help you achieve that EOS life. So make sure you bring that vision to life.
Thanks, everyone. Great job, Caesar. Thank you.
Thank you.